Hi everyone, this is the Snake Eyes deck. I've been meaning to show just some choices and some combos, some anti-Nibiru lines in particular. One thing you know, no formula, don't like it. A lot of the top players that I've talked to on the Master Duel Discord, if you care about that stuff or if you just think it's a bunch of elitist douchebags. But anyway, most of us don't like formula. The problem with him is it's very hard to resolve because, you know, how often do you need access to Ash, then you need the Sinful Spoils, then that can't get Ash Blossom. You need a lot of things to go your way, and then it ends on a board of Appaloosa, Baron, and Savage, and a bunch of Omni Negates. Again, not the greatest end board because it's an FTK if it works, but again, it's still vulnerable to super polymerization. It's not practical. It's kind of most of the time, like maybe out of 10 duels, you'll pull that combo off twice, and the two times you do, I mean, it wins the game, but like in the other 8 duels where you're getting interrupted or you're not opening all the pieces, you'd rather just have other stuff in your extra deck, which is why again I'm not running formula. I run the one Savage because it's a good anti Nibiru card early in the line. I still run the Jet Synchron because it's good for not just synchroing but for link up plays too, because you can use it as a normal summon occasionally. You can pitch it for Black Witch, and then it's just an extra summon in your graveyard if you need it in a pinch. The other thing, again, just running Heat Soul. Um, Not really anything to note. I mean, I like call buys. I know some people have even cut call buy, but I just think that it's so important to resolve your original Sinful Spoils that I've kept it in. I may try more hand trap. Maybe I'll replace the 2 call buy and the triple tactics with Ghost Mourner or Ghost Spell, and that's what some people have been opting for. Other than that, it's pretty standard. Extra deck, pretty standard. I've been meaning to try Nightmare Phoenix, but whatever. Anyway, enough rambling. Let's just show some combos. So, some combos to show. So, I'm just gonna some basic stuff. So, this is the Ash combo. Okay, so you somehow get access to Ash, whether it's 1-for-1, normal summoning an Ash, or original Sinful Spoils. Whatever means you do, you search your Poplar. This is standard stuff. I'm not going to dwell too much because there's a million videos about the basic Snake Eye combos. So again, I don't need to go too deep into it. No, most of the time here, you would go for original Sinful Spoils, but because I already have Ash, I don't necessarily need it. It's nice for follow-up, but in this case, I'd rather just go into the anti-Nibiru line. So, you search Temple. Now we're going to make... I'm going to just cheat a bit. We're going to make Link Karibo, and then Poplar's effect in Grave puts it back as a spell trap. So I'm skipping a couple steps, but again, if you've played the Snake Eye deck, you kind of know what I'm doing. Next, we're going to use Temple. Put the Flamberge. This card is the anti-Nibiru card, right? So again, generic anti-Nibiru line. Then we'll use Ash. And here we search for the Oak. Again, I only run 1 copy of Oak. You can try 2. I'm not really a fan of 2, but it's not complete garbage. But most people are on 1, just for the record. Okay, now we use Oak's effect. We're going to send Link Karibo. And we go for our Flamberge. So now, at this point, keep in mind, the opponent shouldn't Nibiru here, because if they Nibiru here, then we're going to get this Flamberge in the Spell Trap Zone back, plus Flamberge Dragon's effect, and then a Nibiru token. So it'd be idiotic to Nibiru here. This, however, is where you should Nibiru. If you're new to the Snake Eye deck, this is where you want to nib them. You want to nib them right after Flamberge's effect to summon 2 happens, because now, if you get nibbed here, this is very painful for a Snake Eye player. So you get your Nibiru token, then this guy comes. It's not terrible though, because you can use Flamberge Dragon's effect here to bring back Masquerena, and then during the opponent's turn, you can summon it. And again, unfortunately, right now I can only make, really the only thing I can make is a Unicorn for a disruption. And again, I will have cards in my hand. Just keep in mind I put them away to show off the combo. But you will have a Unicorn to disrupt, which isn't terrible. And then the Flamberge will go to the grave, and then you'll have follow-up, because then you'll get the effects of Oak and Ash and also Poplar. If you run Link Spider, you contribute the Nibiru token, and then you can make Appaloosa. If you have space, and again, if you want, like, again, I do have some flex spots here. Like, you could maybe replace the Zealantis or the Goddess with a Link Spider if you really want to, like, really insulate yourself from Nibiru, but I choose not to. But anyway, in the event you don't get Nibiru, let's just kind of rewind. So this was here. Okay, so yeah, we summoned 2 off of Flamberge. Okay, so we're at this point. Okay, so if you don't get Nib, this is the standard line. Go into Princess. Princess brings back this Flamberge. This Flamberge sets IP Masquerena. Now, this is where a lot of people differ, because most people, if you watch those YouTube videos, they'll use this Snake Eye Ash and this Promethean Princess, and they'll finish it off with Ambler Whale. I'm not really crazy about that. I mean, Ambler Whale is a good backup plan, which is why I still run it. But if I don't have to run it, like if I have Temple here, I'd much rather go into Heatzel, and I'll show you how we do that. So you take the very important. You have to take the Flamberge and the Princess to make this guy, Salamangreat, Sunlight Wolf. Then we use Linkuribo's Graveyard effect. Okay. Now, since a monster that Sunlight Wolf is pointing to has been summoned, we can add a fire from our graveyard to our hand. Now, if you use Ash Blossom earlier in the combo to stop maybe Maxi, which is 99% of the time, that's what you would do. You could bring back the Ash that you used and have it for follow-up next turn, which is amazing. That's fucking amazing. Like, that's one of the greatest parts about Sunlight Wolf is being able to recur your Ash. Like, that alone should win you the duel half the time. In this case, I want to keep everything in the grave for the most... Like, I want to keep Ash, Oak, and Poplar all in the grave for the follow-up effect. But I don't really need this Flamberge in the grave, so I can just add it back to my hand. It's literally free. Like, why not? Just do it. Just keep in mind that the monster you add back from Sunlight Wolf it can't be summoned, or I believe what's the restriction? Cannot be used as a normal or special summon. Yeah, so just make sure that you don't plan on special summoning Flamberge for the rest of the turn, and we don't need him for this turn because it's pretty much done. So anyway, now we have 2 Cyberus monsters with different names or different attributes, and we go into Heatzel. Okay, and this is it. This is the end board you want. And this plays around Nibiru in the sense that, like, the best spot they can Nibiru, we at least have a disruption in the form of Unicorn, and if you run the Link Spider, you can make Apo on their turn too. And for us, we don't really care too much about having Flamberge on the board, and I'll show you why. So now, again, you draw 1 for Heatzel's effect, and then, okay, cool, I got a little bit of a mini disruption, and then during the opponent's turn, you draw a second time. And then, cool. See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I just drew 2 disruptions from Heatzel, which is excellent. And now you may be saying, well, yeah, I want Flamberge on the field, but it's fine because you have Temple. Because the second they normal or special summon a monster, you move the Flamberge here. Flamberge will declare his effect. He brings back Masquerena, and now you have an Appaloosa ready to go, in addition to the 2 cards you draw off Heatzel. Okay? And that's pretty much the anti-Nibiru line. There's a variation of this line. This is the one that I mainly go for. So again, I remember you mentioning, I know there was a fellow in the Discord that wanted to know how you would combo off of Black Witch. So I will show you. So again, let me just search it. So again, I'll search Wanted. So Wanted, add the Black Witch. So this is just a 1-card combo with Black Witch. You pitch that. Black Witch's effect, search the original Sinful Spoils. And we're kind of just repeating the process. So this is why I kept Call By here, because if you tribute this and this gets ashed, you more or less have to pass, and it sucks. So it's really nice to have Call By in the grave for this particular scenario, because we don't really have anything else to do if this gets ashed, other than banishing Wanted to draw 1. But anyway, if this resolves, then it's a full combo, because we're going to do the same shit we did last time. Ash will search Poplar, Poplar will search Temple. Then you do Temple to search the Flamberge. And I'm just doing the exact same combo I did in the previous one. So again, just if you want to see it again, this goes here. When I summon the Linkuribo, we do this to get the Oak. If I can find Oak. Oh, there he is. Oak's effect. He'll revive the Ash. Then Oak's second effect to make Flamberge. And again, it's the same kind of deal. The big mistake people make is they'll send this Flamberge Dragon as cost for Oak's effect, and it can give you a better end board if it goes through. But the problem with this is if you do that, you're extremely vulnerable to Nibiru, because the second you pitch this for cost, once they summon a token, you get nothing of value back. You lose all your monsters, you get one token, and then you don't get the temple effect to bring back the Flamberge. So I hate playing into Nibiru with this deck, especially in a format where a lot of people are playing 3 Nibiru, especially in Master and above. So I never, ever send this unless I am like 1000% certain my opponent doesn't have Nib. And the only, like, again, there are ways to cheat, kind of soft cheat, I guess, in the sense that, like, you kind of count summons, and the second you summon your 5th card, you can see if your opponent, like, you can tell if they have a hand trap, because usually there'll be a delay after the 5th summon. And it's like, oh, if there's a big delay and that you have to wait for them to make a decision, then okay, they probably have Nibiru. But it could also be an imperm. So again, I just, to play it safe, I try to always keep this Flamberge in the spell trap zone, and I just try to not play into Nib like ever, because playing into Nib is painful. Again, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I get greedy, and sometimes you don't have a choice. Sometimes you can't play around Nib. Sometimes you just have to YOLO go for it. But if you can play around it, then that's ideal. So anyway, just the standard stuff. Princess brings back the Flamberge. Oops, sorry, I meant to summon her. Meant to summon him. Flamberge brings IP to the spell trap zone. And again, this is the part where very important, because you need a level 1 to special summon Link Karibo back. So Flamberge plus Princess will get us our Sunlight Wolf. Then we will tribute the Snake Eye guy. And again, if you used Ash earlier in the combo, this is where you would add it back via Sunlight Wolf effect. If we don't have Ash, then we just bring back a Flamberge, because why not just have a free card in our hand? We're Yu-Gi-Oh players, we like free cards. Sorry, do not ignore that. And then, yeah, now we're just making Heat Soul. And we pay 1,000. Draw a card. Perfect, we drew an interruption. Now here, you can banish to put back the original Sinful Spoils. Draw a second card. Okay, I can't use that, unfortunately, because I've already drawn cards. But, yeah, Pot, I like Pot. And then during the opponent's turn, we pass. They draw, we draw a card. And again, not the greatest draw because we can't set Imperm in this case, but it's okay. It's not the worst. And then again, when the opponent summons a monster, bring him, and you have Appaloosa ready to go. Okay? While I have Prosperity here, I'll just do a quick little talk about Prosperity. Prosperity is a card, you can't draw cards after you use it. So unfortunately, the Heat Soul line is kind of dead if you use Prosperity, but it's a good card for consistency. If I have a full combo and I just have an extra Prosperity in my hand, sometimes I don't even use it because I want to go into Heat Soul because Heat Soul is amazing. But if I want to just, maybe I'm searching for a hand trap, or I'm searching for a call by, or I'm searching for an extra combo piece, the 3 cards I like to banish off Prosperity are, I would banish Heat Soul, I would banish Sunlight Wolf, because again, you can't draw cards if you use Prosperity, so those cards are kind of dead. And then it just depends what my hand is. If I have access to the tuner, if I have access to Jet Synchron, then I'll probably keep Savage, but if I don't have any tuner access, then I'll just banish Savage. If I do have access to a tuner and I want to keep Savage live, then I'll probably banish Zealantis, because going first, you don't really need Zealantis. And then if you need to banish 6, like let's say your opening hand is like, let's say your opening hand is really bad, like, or not really bad, but not the greatest. Let's say it's something like this. So let's say your opening hand is like 3 hand traps, a dead card, and Prosperity, and you need to banish 6. The cards I would pick would definitely be these 4. Zealantis, Savage, Sunlight, Heat Soul. Again, you don't need Sunlight and Heat Soul because we can't draw cards. The other cards I would pick, probably one of the Charmers. Usually, again, it depends on the matchup, but if I don't know the matchup, I would definitely banish Dark before Hita, because Fire decks are more popular than the Dark decks. And what are we at? Yeah, that's 5. So I need one more card to banish. This one's a little bit trickier. Some people go for Unicorn. I like to keep Unicorn, though, in case I get nibbed, just because of that situation where you want Unicorn. I would probably do Goddess, honestly, because, yeah, that's just my personal preference. But if you want to banish Unicorn or Ambler Whale, that's fine, too. But I think those are the in my version. I think this would be a solid choice. Maybe if you can keep Goddess and banish Unicorn if you like, but yeah. Anyway, that's all. I've rambled enough, and yeah, hopefully I didn't talk too fast. And if you have any questions, always feel free to ask.